All right, so I'm back over in Illustrator. I took that flattened version from Photoshop of those three. I ended up adding some hair ties back in, but that was about it. That was the only thing I ended up using from that final trace, that last one. So this is now, I'm going to trace it. Since this is coming from directly from a trace, there shouldn't be anything that really needs to get changed. There was a slight shift in the white outline. That would look like the only thing that might have slightly changed. Everything else really seems okay, but it didn't break, so I still made it thick enough that it survived it. Now, this one is good to go. I can go ahead and expand it. The only thing that I'm going to do different on this side, and this is just so that in case I want to be able to color the pieces with ease, I'm going to change just one thing about how I trace it. So I'm going to hit ignore color. White is the automatic one that pops up, so you shouldn't need to do any kind of ignore color of choosing a different one. If this was a color version, then you would choose something else, but since black and white, you don't need to do that. And then hit trace. Now, because this image is sitting on gray, you can see right away when it's doing its thing what it took out, which is the white. And the reason I'm doing it is just for color. So I'll go ahead and expand. Now, if I want white, that's not a big deal. I can just make a shape behind it, okay? But the reason I want to do it is so that I can change the color. So if I want to change it, oof, that's pretty bad. She likes blue, so I'll go with blue. Now I've noticed one thing, and I did this on purpose because I've noticed that if I go directly to the color picker on the left side, it shifts to gray, and I haven't figured out why. Something new that's happening. But if I go directly to the swatches, it doesn't have an issue. Now, after I go to swatches, so this is a new, I don't know, it's a very weird new thing that's been happening. And then I can click on the color picker and everything's fine. So I would advise you to use your color swatches up here, or like open up your swatches and use one of those first, even if it's not your intention to use them, because there's some sort of weird situation going on. It's some little bug that I'm not sure about how to go about fixing yet because it's new. But that's the workaround. That seems to be okay. Now you can see that they're all connected, right? So if I want to be able to select everything and change the color, I have to do it like that. But if I want to just change that one, I need to use the direct selection tool. So I'll just have to kind of go back and forth a little bit if I need some changing, which is fine. And then if I want that white, then I would just need to draw a new shape that basically goes behind. I'm not going to do it well because that'll take a little bit of time, but you'll get the idea. This is a little bit kind of like that still life where you're just going to hide the layer that you don't need. Yellow will be horrendous, so I'll just choose, I'll just do white. And then under object or just in your layers window, you can arrange it to go to the back. And there you would have your white back. So now when you want to move, if you want to move back over to Photoshop, then you just grab whatever you need. You might want to grab this piece right here separately, especially if you want to color it differently. But you can grab everything first in one and then paste it over in Photoshop. But this you might want to also grab separately so you can be able to do clipping masks a little bit easier.